Hey y'all, big reveal for you tonight, and the reveal is this, that the Monday prior to this past Monday, so about 10 days ago now, I had MSE installed by my orthodontist, Dr. Nuaz, at the Gelb Center in Manhattan. And along with the install of the MSE, which is a completely, as you know, bone-borne palatal expander that expands laterally, it splits the mid-palatal suture. It's screwed into the mid-palatal suture, and then a screw in it is turned and it splits the mid-palatal suture. I had that MSE installed 10 days ago, and the big question with MSE for any patient is that patient going to successfully have their mid-palatal suture split, because it is not a 100% success rate. I'm unsure what the exact success rate is, maybe closer to 75. However, my orthodontist took extra care to ensure that a split would happen. He did a procedure called a corticotomy on me, where he drilled pilot holes into the palatal suture to weaken the resistance of the suture on the appliance. And after taking 3 days to rest, after the 11 millimeter screws were screwed into my maxilla, which was a little bit intense, a lot of bit intense, I won't sugarcoat it. After taking 4 days off following the install, I turned aggressively for 3 days, 26 turns in 3 days, and guess what I got? I got the split. Take a look at that sucker. That, my friends, plus I got some space over here and over here. And that, my friends, is what you call a split of the mid-palatal suture. It is all downhill from here. Since the split occurred this past Sunday, I've only turned once a day. So imagine I did 6 or 7 turns a day for 3 days, got the split, and now I'm at 1 turn a day. It's all downhill from here. After my body took it pretty harsh those initial days of cranking. There was pain. I had some headaches, some migraines. My interpretation of it was that my body went into a kind of full panic mode. The MSE set off the smoke detector, and then the smoke detectors in the whole house went off. In my body, my heart rate was elevated. I got headaches. I felt like crap, but I managed the pain for those several days after the install, and then during those days of intensive turning. This fucking thing is screwing up the audio. And now my body is totally normalized, totally adjusted to the appliance. The split happened. After the split occurred, there was a huge sense of relief. And that was one of my main questions for Dr. Nuaz was, Doc, this turning is pretty rough. I'm literally feeling my skull being cranked on by this appliance. After the split happens, is it going to get better? Is that tension that I'm feeling throughout my cheeks and throughout my maxilla and into my temples, really everywhere in the entire face was feeling this intense strain from the appliance? I said to him, Doc, is that going to let go once the suture splits? And he said, hang tight. There's a huge sense of relief that comes as soon as the split occurs. Lo and behold, Sunday afternoon, I literally was at the peak of tension, right? My head was it felt like exactly what you would imagine it feels like. An appliance is literally splitting your skull in half. It's like a Chinese torture device if you think about it in a kind of sick way, except you pay for it and it helps you in the long term, is what MSE is. Anyhow, that Sunday afternoon, as pain and tension was peaking, I felt like a sharp kind of like a needle was being stuck into my suture, like a sharp pain, not quite a bee sting, but sort of a bee sting. And then a sudden washing over me of warm bliss. My whole face and my palate got washed over with this blissful sensation. And I believe it was in that moment that the suture split and there was a huge release in tension. That was this past Sunday. Again, here's what I got to show for it. And so that's the update for now. MSE is a steep activation energy. That first week is tough. After the install, after the Novocaine wears off, after the install, there's intense amounts of pain. And then the turning is tough. But once you get that split, it feels good, man. And on a more positive note, my immediate reactions to having MSE are, wow. What I'm feeling already after just, I don't know, maybe 2 millimeters of expansion, a huge improvement in my nasal breathing. I could literally, when the MSE is turned, you can literally feel your nose. There's huge amounts of tension on the nose. That was where the tension from turning the screw was most intense, was right in here. It felt like you got punched in the nose. But on the back side of the split, there's a huge sense of, wow, like I've never breathed this well through my nose before in my whole life. And then the other immediate realization, experience I've had with MSE after just, I don't know, about 30 turns now, oral volume, man, oral volume, because I've already got significant amounts of expansion. I mean, at least this much. And then a little more on each side. I would say 2 or 3 millimeters already makes a huge difference for the tongue. Mewing is possible with MSE, and actually Dr. Zubad encouraged me to mew during that initial turning period because he said that it would assist the appliance in overcoming the resistance posed by the maxilla and the suture, and I did. The key is you got to put orthodontic wax on the back 2 screws because the head of the screw, which is like a hex head, sticks out, and when you press the middle of your tongue up on the roof of your mouth, those screws irritate the shit out of your tongue, so you got to plug them with orthodontic wax after every meal. I've got orthodontic wax on those screw heads since day 1. As soon as my tongue got raw on that first day, I had a bunch of wax saved from my AGA treatment. I've got still got 8 packs of wax. Plugged it up. Within a day, my tongue was healed, and I haven't felt a single pain from MSE since. And mewing is totally possible, and speech is minimally affected. You may hear a little bit of an effect on my speech, but because the appliance is placed sort of at the back of the mouth rather than at the front, speech is not that affected, and that's great. Because apart from the diastema that's forming, people don't really realize you got it. Now, I've got these big hooks on mine because I'm combining MSE with face mask. Dr. Zubad is leading the way with this, and he had my appliance custom made with these hooks. And that's where the MSE is gonna, the face mask is gonna apply a force on those, and those ultimately are rooted in the bone where the MSE is screwed in, and that starts next month after I finish expanding. The sutures are still open. You apply the face mask, and it pulls things forward and up. And it's documented that people as old as their early 20s can get results from the face mask. I'm 29, and we're going to see if we can get any forward expansion with the loose sutures and with the face mask. So, got my AGA gaps. Got 5 millimeters there. This thing's growing every day, getting wider, already a little bit more forward. Shit's getting real, and MSE, man, this thing's got balls. I've been telling everyone, this thing's got balls. I mean, in 3 days, I split that suture, and it's been 10 days, and I took the first 4 off, so it's effectively been 6 days of treatment with this thing, and I would say a 30% improvement in nasal breathing and a 25% improvement in my sense of oral volume, my ability to place the tongue, even with the appliance in my mouth. So, I don't know, more updates to come. High quality photos on ronaldeed.com coming soon. I got my physics final coming up in 2 weeks, so I'm going to kind of stay offline for another 2 weeks as I get through that final. It's tough stuff. But more MSE updates coming soon. Glad to be able to share the good news with y'all. All right, talk soon. Peace.